Hello everyone. I've never made a video like this before except for some stupid freaking streams when I was a teenager, like an idiot. Uh, I've been sitting here for a while thinking I need some way to express myself. I suppose many other young men, just don't have an outlet these days. Uh, I really just need to express myself in some way. So here we go. I apologize for any sort of background noise or whatever. I don't have anything fancy. I just have a crappy pair of headphones. That's all I really care to have. I'm not trying to make any money. I already have a job. I don't care about making money. I just want to talk. I'll probably have some game running in the background. I don't have anything specific I want to put up, but we'll see. So, first off, with this, as I said, with this channel, I just want to talk, get stuff off my mind, talk about ideas I have, or just however the hell I feel. I've been seeing a lot of people do it recently, and I thought might as well just try it. So, today, I'm going to talk about why I am a monarchist. Now, I know as an American that seems absolutely insane. You know, with the whole history of the United States beating out the British and all that. But as time has gone on, as many other people feel, there's a deeply broken system in America. Things need to be fixed, and I don't think they're going to be fixed with our current system. That's just a fact. You know, corruption exists everywhere. It has existed in every system, every nation, no matter who it is, whether it's in Asia, Europe, or the Americas. And when I look at history, if you look at what are the most stable forms of government, they're all monarchies, whether they have some sort of democratic element or not. Some places have parliaments, some don't. Obviously, Britain, not modern day Britain. That place is lost. I have nothing for Britain. They're just gone. But you have a parliamentary system there with a king. At least in the past, they had some power. Or in France, at least after I think it was 1838, they had a king, but a more powerful sort of parliament. I'm not too sure what it was called off the top of my head, but even going back to Rome, the Republic was a disaster in the last several years, and it was only saved by becoming a monarchy. Obviously, the Romans themselves wouldn't say that, but that's just how it was. So I look at America having similar issues to Rome with general corruption, and that's the only way I see out of it. Now, a lot of people like to talk left and right about, you know, on the left they seem to be, I wouldn't say united, but very sure of what they want. They on that they have two distinct groups: the old school Democrats and the progressives, where the progressives want either socialism or communism or any type of economic system like that with full like healthcare or whatever. Whereas the old school Democrats, yeah, they want some of that, but they're at the end of the day still loyal to corporations and capitalism. So, I mean, as we see with people like Nancy Pelosi, they'll go all day about, oh, we have to do this for the economy, and we have to regulate. Well, then she'll go into the back room and buy all Nvidia stock, and look, the next day she's made $1 million. While it's on the right, we have three more distinct groups of the people who were like Elon and Tulsi Gabbard, the left. I didn't leave the left left me. Whereas they want to go back to like 2005 socially. Then we have the more traditional, quote unquote, conservatives, which I'll get into why they're not really conservative anymore, but they want to go more like 100 years back, limit the power of the federal government. But then you have the traditionalists, which is a third group, and they don't really know what they want. You have a lot of ideas. I'm in this third category where I want a monarchy. I'm pretty clear what I want, but there are some people who want either a more religious government or the Nick Fuenteses of the world, where he's just like, nope, full holy war in Israel, which I think is crazy. I don't think like some people, I don't think he should be told to shut up, but it's still crazy to me. But we in this third group are not united on what we want. There's a lot of people with a bunch of different ideas. But I think that if you look at everything that we've had, the U.S. has had to deal with, ever since really World War II, a lot of it has been down to corruption. We have at first the Korean War, they sold it as kind of we need to do this because the Soviet Union. Well, we wouldn't have been in that situation if we didn't try to set up a world order to combat the Soviet Union. Yeah, they were not our allies. In reality, they were not. But we only worked with them because there was a greater evil at that time. And we bit the bullet. Well, look how that turned out. We let them sit around and they got more powerful. But eventually, we kind of realized, hey, maybe we shouldn't police them. So we backed off it for a couple years. We gave aid to France and Britain and Europe to build up their own defenses. And then in the 60s, we went into Vietnam. Sorry about that. My chair's a piece of crap. As I said, completely uncut. In the 60s, we went to Nam and went on a little adventure there for, 10 years at least? Jeez, man. And what did we accomplish? We just got a bunch of people killed. We were warned of foreign entanglements when the U.S. was created, and look where we are. We're in a bunch of foreign entanglements, and clearly it's not going to stop with our current government. There are too many people who are given money by both domestic groups and foreign groups to keep sending money around the world, and me and a bunch of other people are tired of it. I mean, the only way I see out of it is radically changing our government. Now, a lot of people would hear what I'm saying and say, "Oh, you're a fascist." Well, of course, that word has no meaning anymore. It's gotten to a point where people say, "Okay, yeah, I am," but I refute that by saying, "Well, what is the definition of fascism?" And they can never give you an answer. Yes, monarchy at times is more authoritarian, but at least in that system, you know who can be blamed. Whereas in a quote-unquote democracy, you can't. They'll say, oh, it was this person or that person. Well, I had nothing to do with it, it was him. Well, here, if something goes wrong, you can point to the king and say he screwed up. Or when something goes great, you can praise him to high heaven. It's, I say it's the most stable government system. That is true. When the king's doing a good job, it becomes unstable very quick when he does something terrible. Obviously, if you look at King John in England, yeah, when he was screwing around, he got overthrown. It's kind of funny, but after that, the balance between local lords and the king was firmly established, and that stood for a long time in England, and it didn't really get overthrown until Charles I, when He literally got overthrown and beheaded. Still didn't work out for them, but the way I see it, I would rather have a government where I know who can be blamed than otherwise you have to go through pages and pages of bureaucracy. Which, yes, in a monarchy there's bureaucracy, just like how the president now in the U.S. has a cabinet, the king would too. That's just how it works. One man doesn't know everything. Uh, and he always needs to have someone around him to let him know what he should do, assist him. And that's just the way things work. It's no man can know anything. If someone says they know everything, they're fucking lying. They're an idiot, and they need to go read a book, I suppose, or they just need to go shut the hell up. But when I see the world we are currently in, you'll have people say, well, we need to save our democracy, or this person's a threat to our democracy. When they say that, they're talking about their version of democracy, the one where they can send the legal system after you to do anything they want. They'll take your money, they'll take your guns, they'll take everything, they'll throw you in jail and lock away the key. But when they win, it's democracy prevails. Well, as they said, it's their democracy. The left and the right really, it's a natural order of things where they want an authoritarian form of government. We had about 300 years of liberal democracy, and I'd say the experiment has failed, and it needs to be ended. I think that the people have proven that they cannot rule themselves when you have politicians that will just say, I will give you free stuff. And you'll get the EBT queens coming out of the woodwork to get that free stuff because everyone wants free stuff. That's not going to solve anything. I would rather have someone who actually knows what the hell they're doing and not just say, I'll give you free stuff. It's ridiculous and it needs to end. And I think the only way out of that is monarchy. I saw a video, I forget the guy's name. He talked about how monarchy is inevitable. Me, like many others, started out as libertarians. I'm all for gun ownership. I think you should be able to own a tank with live ammunition. Some people will say it's crazy, but I think you should. I believe everyone has some form of self-agency, and it should not be the government to police that, but the community. And it's sacred to the United States, I would say, and us respectively, because no one really, before America, no country really had freedom of speech or freedom to own weapons. Obviously, people would own weapons, they would speak, but the government, without any sort of punishment, could just move in and do whatever they wanted. And we are unique in the ability that it doesn't really happen as much. Well, I suppose it does happen when certain people are in charge, and then it gets left out of the history books. But I would argue that there are times when that force is necessary. I think Joseph McCarthy was in the right to call it the communists. And, well, people hurl clutches, said, oh, we can't do that. And now if you open a high school history book, Joseph McCarthy's the villain. When in reality, he was right. He was always right about the communists. And, well, the world order that wanted to control everything silenced him for it. If you look it up, he mysteriously died one day. Look at that. Not shocking there. A lot of people seem to do that. But, sorry. I'm, as I said, uncut. I'm kind of losing it a little bit. But the way the world works, monarchy is inevitable if you want liberty. There needs to be, I'm not saying the government needs to be wide and big, but if you can have a small strong government to actually protect liberties of people, then you have a libertarian society. People say, oh, communism's good in theory, but horrible in practice. No, it's deadly in practice and batshit insane in theory. Whereas libertarianism is good in theory, but in practice never works out. You need a strong central government to be able to enforce liberties. And it seems that libertarians don't want to accept that idea. Why? Well, I don't fucking know. You know, a lot of them seem to be more worried about getting marijuana legalized over anything else. But that's for another fucking day. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of lay out the groundwork of this channel. I know I never really used it. I got a couple memes posted. If you want to look at some crappy memes. But yeah, that's about it. I appreciate you all for listening. Have a good day.